My name is Kumar and I'm a relationship coach at 𝗖𝗹𝗿. At 𝗖𝗹𝗿, we help you to take your relationships from good to great. How many of you want to have a great relationships? Type it in the chat box and let me know how many of you really want to have an outstanding relationships. At 𝗖𝗹𝗿, we help people build conscious relationships with their partners and facilitate expansion through one-on-one coachings, group sessions, e-learning journeys, and we also have our inner circle known as conscious relationships. Hey Anamika, thanks for joining. And we also help people integrate themselves at mind, body, spirit levels in our retreats, which you will find out during this live session. Hey Akhil, thanks for joining, and let those hearts flow. And why don't you share this live session in your network so that they know how to build conscious and healthy relationships. And we believe in providing implementable tools and techniques to people which can help them nurture and build their relationships on a practical basis. And live a mindful and conscious life, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Dr. Sippy, thanks so much for joining. And why don't you, give me those hearts on the screen. Let those hearts fly, and also share this Instagram live onto your stories. Yes, onto your stories. Hey, Vanshika, thanks for joining. So, how many of you agree if I say this, that apart from so many challenges in life, the most important and critical and crucial challenge is with relationships. Yeah, relationships. It could be with your partner, it could be with your parents, children, office colleagues. It could be your boss. It could be your business partner. So having a healthy relationships is good to your mind, body, and spirit, right? So get inside and fly the car made up of love. That's what we do at 𝗖𝗹𝗿. And let me invite my fellow coach, an amazing relationship coach, Anamika, onto this live. Let her join the call. All right. Thank you so much. Hey, Anamika.
Hey, Kumar. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Thanks to all the people who have joined us. Welcome. Great.
Yeah.
I was just watching you only, Kumar.
Thanks so much. And Anamika, I know sometimes I really feel that relationship coaches are actually a blessing to people, because most people do not understand the criticalities or the intricacies of having conscious relationships, and they just live in the same toxic relationships if they are in, and they don't have answers, they can't find solutions. And that's where we at 𝗖𝗹𝗿 help people build conscious relationships. So we are doing a fantastic job, and we should be proud of ourselves.
Absolutely. And the point is that people, even somewhere inside themselves, know that they need to get out of these relationships, the toxic ones, the ones that are not working, and yet they don't know, what else lies outside their comfort zone, and they don't know what steps to take, how to even deal with these situations, because of course a lot of hurt and pain and fears and worries come with these relationships.
Absolutely. And today I'm totally excited about the topic which we're going to discuss of what are the 5 things that couples do in healthy relationships. So even before you talk about those 5 things, probably the people who are watching want to know what exactly you mean by healthy relationships. Everybody's in a relationship. Some are married, some are dating. But what does healthy relationship looks like, Anamika?
Yes. So when it comes to healthy relationship, there are 7 pillars through which we define the health of the relationship. The first one being trust. Trust as a very important factor, where you're able to trust your partner. The second one being acceptance. You're an acceptance of who your partner is, and you're also in acceptance of who are you as a person who's entering in the relationship, right? So relationships have this very beautiful quirk to themselves, is they are always a mirror. All the relationships are a mirror of your inside world. And in fact, everything in the outside world is a mirror of how we are. We are kind of always creating this thing for ourselves. But the beauty with relationships is they help you grow the most, and they show you where you need to work, right? Because the way we communicate, the way we come in contact with people in our lives, and that's how we know that, okay, this is what I need to change in myself. So acceptance being the second part. So the beautiful part is that the more we accept ourselves, the more we have the capacity to accept other people. And it always goes hand in hand. The more we are able to feel that security, sense of security inside, the same reflects outside. Then another pillar that comes into picture is honesty, right? So now that doesn't mean that couples or people as humans do not lie, but we can lie about like really small things, something we just don't want to talk about or anything. But in relationships, especially when it comes to your partner, like with your friend, for example, you don't want to go to a party and then you just make an excuse. Maybe you're lying a little bit or exaggerating or undermining what you're doing. That's little things that we all do, and that's okay. So not setting a ground rule, but about the parts which are really important in relationships. So we keep the honesty intact. In a healthy relationship, couples keep this intact. The fourth pillar, which I always emphasize the most, which is the most important, is safety. So in healthy relationships, both the partners feel safe. So this is the biggest sign if anybody has to check out if they are actually in a healthy relationship or not, is to ask the question that, is the environment safe? Right? Is the environment, do I feel safe in this environment? Do I feel safe to communicate? Do I feel safe that I can talk? I can share my feelings. I can show who I am. And this again comes back to the point of reflection. If you feel that you're not safe, right? That means if you are always walking on eggshells, that means somewhere you are also not able to contribute to creating that environment of safety. Because before the other person does anything, there will be a question going on in your head, right? That, is everything fine? Is everything going okay? And so both the partners contribute to this. And even if sometimes they both feel unsafe, they communicate about it. That, could you please give me clarity about this situation? What are we doing? Why are we doing this? And can we do it differently? So coming to the fifth point, communication. So there's a lot of communication which is there in healthy relationships. A myth that goes on in society in general when it comes to watching movies, so-called, Bollywood style movies, where it is shown that couples, without even talking, understand each other in silence. That's not how humans, at least right now where we are on planet Earth, operate, because we don't have any capacity to read minds and messages. We all do have that capacity, but in our level of consciousness, we have not grown that much that we can, telepathically, I can read, okay, this is what Kumar is thinking inside his head. So rather than assuming things, they talk. It's as simple as that. They just simply talk. Then the sixth and seventh point, which are another important points, that those are compassion and affection, right? So there's a lot of compassion. There's a lot of empathy that is there in these relationships. It's nobody's judging to coming to a point where you should do this and you should do that. So I'm not saying that both the partners are equal in a sense that there is a race and there is a competition and they're equal like that, but they're equal in a sense where they both respect each other's choices and capabilities and perspectives, perception. So they don't say that, why do you think like this? Why do you do like this? Why do you have to be
Right.
like this? Right. So there is a lot of empathy and compassion which is there. There's a lot of affection which is there. Right. There's a lot of connection which is there. So that's the
Right.
gist of how healthy relationships look like. One very important quirk about these relationships, for a couple to be in a healthy relationship, it's imperative that both of them have um, above average EQs, emotional intelligence or emotional quotient. Their emotional quotient is pretty high. Otherwise, if your EQ is not at par, then it gets really hard to create healthy relationships. So and with emotional intelligence comes self-awareness, and you cannot be self-aware until you're mindful of what you're doing and why you're doing it. So that's how all of these things come together. So these relationships are not that, you're my other half, my better half. What better half?
Right.
Both the people are whole in themselves. That's why they
Right.
come together and create a whole relationship. It's not like in the love math conversation that we had. So we always talk about that two halves cannot create one. Two halves will always
Right.
create half, right? So in
Absolutely.
relationships, two whole people come together, and that does not mean that they don't have flaws. They have like reached some level of enlightenment. Nothing like that. The At least they are at a point where they both are ready to see and work on themselves, evolve together, do things together, right? So some level of self-awareness is there, and then whichever level is not there, whatever work is remaining, they are at least ready that they can play a part to make each other more self-aware and do. So there's no force, there's nothing to fix each other, but still there is an intention to always evolve together. So that's a little bit of a gist of how healthy
Wow.
relationships could
Wow.
look like.
That's awesome. I mean, these 7 pillars are so crucial and important. And let me just check who all joined. Hey, Sausha, thank you so much for joining. Mandeep, psychologist. 𝗕cie Patel, thank you so much for joining. Why don't you quickly share this live with your audience and let them know what kind of work that we do and what healthy relationship looks like and what are these 7 pillars. Hi, Pranav. Thank you so much for joining. Dikshita, Vicky, Renuka, Prachi, Rithi Bansal, Akarma, and so many people. Thank you so much, beautiful people, for joining this live.
Thank
And
you.
Anamika just shared these 7 pillars, and I would like to ask a question to all the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls who are watching this live. What is the most important pillar for you currently in your relationship? What do you think is the most important pillar? Let me repeat those pillars. It's trust, acceptance, honesty, safety, communication, compassion, and affection. Put it in the chat box as to what is the most important pillar for you in your current relationship. Thank you so much, Anamika, for sharing that. And I have a question, where I see these Facebook posts and Instagram reels and all that stuff where people say, when they find a partner, you complete me. This is one of those cases which I see, oh, you complete me. Thank you so much. I mean, and it is, you just said that, half and half can be only half. Can you throw a little light as to, why a half and half can be half? What is this you complete me thing? I think there's nobody who can complete us. I mean, we need to be complete in ourselves, and that's when we can find a person who is actually complete in themselves, herself or himself. Am I right,
Uh,
Anamika?
yes, and people who feel this, right, who resonate with this thing that somebody else can complete you, then it is really, really a point of reflection for each of that person who feels that somebody else can complete them. Is, are you looking for a codependent relationship? Are you in a codependent
Mhm.
relationship, or are you um, looking for creating a relationship like that? Because codependent relationships are not healthy relationships. So if
Right.
two half people come together, they cannot create a whole relationship. All they can create is a codependent relationship.
Right. Right.
Right.
And can you let me give you an example of codependency? Please correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I know there's one of a couple where she says that my husband can't even boil water. He doesn't even know how to boil water or how to boil milk, and I take care of everything. And she's totally. I mean, she proudly says that. I mean, which is good. As a couple, I think it's good in cooking for your husband, spouse, and all. At the same time, husband also is totally dependent on our wife because he doesn't really know how to really live by himself. I mean, when two people come together, I know relationship is always a two-way streets as we always talk, right? It's always a give and take. But do you think this is a codependency relationship and it's not very healthy? What do you think about it?
If it is in awareness, like for an example, let's talk about a couple in which one partner is, let's suppose, physically disabled, right?
Right.
Let's suppose.
Okay.
So in that case, and that is a fact, right? And if you're physically disabled, there are a few things that you cannot do. Although I'm not saying that physically disabled people cannot do things. Absolutely, they can do everything like any other normal person, right? But the point is, if we check it out on these 7 pillars, there is trust, there is acceptance, there is safety, honesty, there is a lot of authenticity, clear communication, affection, compassion. So they may come to a point where they come to an agreement that, okay, let me do this, let me do, and you do that, right?
Right.
And it's
Right.
not something where it is being said because I am weak or I cannot do it and I have to be dependent upon you. It's coming from a space that I can still get it done, maybe get it done from somebody else, but I would be happy if you do this for me, right? And
That's awesome.
I am ready to do this. So there's very clear communication going on that, okay, this is the responsibility and this is what I take, and this can you do this for me? So that is not
Right.
happening from a space where there are hidden messages or there is manipulation involved that I have to do this, then only this person will do that, then that person, if they are doing so much. So there are no such ambiguity. There is no such ambiguity involved in those situations. It's clear and it's communicated and it's shown, right?
Right.
While in codependent relationships, the thing is that what happens that there could be things these two people will be doing for each other, but along with those 2 things, there are 8 hidden things that come upon each other, which are not communicated, not shown. They're hidden, like actually hidden under the carpet, which is happening, but nobody is acknowledging it. And maybe somebody is complaining, somebody is blaming, somebody is playing games, somebody is doing manipulation, somebody is doing whatever. So there is no authenticity involved over there, and I mean there is not congruency involved in there, right? So because at the end you still have to meet your needs,
True.
right? But then these couples, because they have to meet their needs, but they have inbuilt shame or guilt or their belief system or patterns, or they feel that they're not worthy enough, or they feel that they feel that they are better than other people, or they are not better than other. All of these belief systems are there, the insecure attachment styles, which we usually talk about, and then
Right.
they're not able to communicate it or to share it with their partner, and then they have to get all of those needs met, but under the carpet, hidden. And they also have to say that I love you and you are my everything, right? I remember that sentence. We often say that needing somebody because you love them is very different from loving somebody because you need them.
Whoa.
So it's always the second case in codependent relationships, and it's
Absolutely.
always
Absolutely.
the first case when it comes to healthy relationships.
So ladies and gentlemen, you just heard what codependency looks like, which is not a very healthy way of relationship, right? So my next question to you is, Anamika, what do you mean when you say these couples take things seriously? In healthy relationships, right? So what do you mean by that?
Yes. So as we link healthy relationships to emotional intelligence and self-awareness and mindfulness, so taking these things seriously as if it does not mean that they are like always like on this mode where like they are always serious. So that's not what it is. What I meant to say by this is they are aware and they
They're
are
aware.
observant, right? They're observant of what things are going on. So these are the things which they do not overlook, or they do not
Right.
avoid or repress or suppress, or just throw away under the carpet again.
Hmm.
So that's what we mean when we say that they take these things seriously.
Okay. Okay. So what could be those five most important things that they don't overlook?
Right. So the first thing being conflicts in relationships, right? So no matter how healed a person you are, how much you've worked on yourself, how much you're self-aware, how much you're mindful, all of those things are fine. But no matter who you go to live with, there will be differences, because at the end
Right.
we are humans, right? I could like potatoes, you could like tomatoes. That's just choice. That's just perspective, perception, any kind of differences. It could be different. Like I like this wearing different kind of clothes, and you like wearing different kind of clothes, right? Because our personalities are different, our choices, everything can differ. Now, in healthy relationships, of course, there's a lot of compatibility, but compatibility does not mean similarity. Compatibility includes both similarity and differences, which is complementary in nature, right? So,
Right.
these differences are going to be there, and they are very observant whenever conflicts arise in relationships, and they ask these questions that they become self-aware. They go deeper into it, that why is this conflict happening, right? What is the point? So if a conflict is there, that means that two people want different things in one situation, right? Then
Right.
coming to a point where they both are clear what both of them want, and then they both can come to a point where they can meet both the person's needs. Or
Hmm.
even if it is like, let's suppose we are going for a trip, right? And you want to go to one place and I want to go to another, right? And there is this conflict. So we
Right.
share that, we discuss that, okay, Kumar, I guess if we go here, then this will happen. If we go there, that will happen. You share your viewpoints. And then we come to a point of resolution that, okay, Kumar, let's do one thing. Today, let's go to your place. Tomorrow, let's go to my place, right? Or even if, let's say, I'm not saying that there are no compromises or adjustments in these relationships. They're always going to be there. But it should come from a space where one partner is doing it out of a lot of happiness, right?
Super. Super.
Right. So they are not doing it because they have to please the other person, or they have
Right.
to. There could be points, I could tell you just simply, if that was really important to me, I could tell you, Kumar, you go to your place, I'll go to my place. If it is that important to me,
Right.
doesn't matter. No ground rule, any resolution in which they see that both of them are happy doing it,
Hmm.
right? So
Super.
that's the first thing. The second point is that whenever they come to a point that there is blaming going on by either of the partners, if there is
Right.
blaming going on, complaining going on, cribbing going on, then they take a pause, become observant that what is this blame about, right? And why is it even coming up? And coming to a point of resolution where there was misunderstanding, there was maybe there was a gap in which one person communicated something, another person comprehended something, or there was lack of communication, whatever it is, right? So if there is blaming going on, they take a pause and see if this is important, if this is required, this is needed, and is there even a point in that blame? Because we cannot come to a judgment that, oh, your blame is useless, right? Maybe what the other person is trying to say is what they feel, right? And they also self-aware that they do not use you language. For an example, we are talking, right? And if I come and tell you that, Kumar, you make me feel this way, how would you react? You would say that, no, I didn't mean that. I didn't do it intentionally, because it's very human. Whenever something comes on us, we get defensive, right? Because we don't feel it, that we meant to do it. We wouldn't intentionally hurt people we love. But what we do instead is use I statement. That I feel that I am feeling alone. Maybe Kumar, you're not talking to me, or you didn't do this. I asked you to do this, you didn't do this, right? So I feel this way, right? So it's I statements which come into picture. So there is even if there is blame and everything involved, they take a pause and see where is it coming from, dig deeper into it, and dissect the situation.
Right. So basically, it's like feeling comfortable in expressing our own opinions and concerns to your partner. That's one of the most healthiest sign which I see is that. Super. I mean, that's a great point. I mean, taking a pause, being an observant, and all. Fantastic. All right. And what's the third?
Then the third one could be communication, of course, which is indeed related to all of these points. And as I already was saying in the beginning, that they talk, right? So they don't shy away from having difficult conversations. No matter how much we try, there will be times when it comes to having difficult conversations, and we get like really uncomfortable with saying and expressing ourselves. So they come to a point where maybe they decide that they don't have to talk right away, but they decide that, okay, we will talk tomorrow. But they come to a point where they can sit and communicate, right? And they learn healthy ways of communication, because it is also not only about what you say, but it is also about how you say it. So they are mindful that they don't communicate it in a way where it comes out as like nasty and all that. And I don't mean to say that in healthy relationships there is never a nasty fight. There could be one, right? But it's minimal and it's not intentional. And even if that happens, these couples have the intention, willingness, readiness to come back, and then if it is required to apologize or share why you did what you did, they do that. So all kinds of communications, including the communication in silence sometimes.
And in particularly my own relationships with people and so many others, and I found that it's been very difficult for me or so many others to set healthy boundaries. And this is one of the most crucial things which I feel that that healthy. I mean, to be in a healthy relationship, that you need to communicate. So that's a very good point which you mentioned about feeling open, feeling free to express your opinions, and it's all about how you say it, not what you say.
Right. So there is no lack of communication, and they, whenever there is lack of communication, they take it, they don't overlook it. They come back and talk. Then the fourth one, like you mentioned, boundaries. So they pay a very keen interest and intentionally see what are the boundaries of the relationship. So they don't overlook boundaries, right? They really, really respect their own boundaries, and their partner's boundaries.
Hmm.
Because boundaries are like very highly interlinked to safety, feeling safe in relationships. The whole point of even creating boundaries is creating an environment for yourself where you feel safe.
Right.
and and although it looks counterintuitive that you are as if creating walls so that you're not close enough to people, but the point is, the moment I feel safe with my partner, I slowly
Right.
open up to communicate, to show myself, to express myself. If I don't have a boundary, right? I'm constantly walking on eggshells, constantly. And I'm never ready to communicate, never ready, because I'm constantly anxious or avoiding the situation. I don't know what to do. I'm all over the place. So at least having a safe place, safe environment allows me to communicate. And when I know that my partner is not going to violate my boundaries, it makes me feel safe. And then when I am ready, I go and talk.
Right. Right. And for the people who are watching and listening to us today, can you give one or two examples of what does boundaries look like? I mean, probably an example, for a man or for a woman, what do you mean by boundaries? Probably they don't understand. I just wanted you to give a couple of examples.
Right, right. So boundaries, there are many different kinds of boundaries, right? So there are people who do not appreciate being touched, without permission or without,
Right.
um, um, you know, without being comfortable with even their partner,
Right.
right? There could be physical boundaries, like people who do not have physical touch as their love language. They feel very unsettled if somebody does
Unsettled.
that, and they're not ready for it, and they're not comfortable at that point of time. Then comes mental boundaries. Then comes verbal boundaries, that how a certain person
Mhm.
communicates with you, right? That maybe let's suppose you have met all your friends and you talk to them in a certain way, right? And then
Right.
you go to your partner and you start talking to them in a certain way, but they don't feel comfortable with it, right? And
Mhm.
and it's okay for you, because everybody else has accepted that view, so you're not doing it intentionally, but maybe with her, she is not comfortable, right?
Understood.
Or there could be emotional boundaries. There could be all different, or in all different areas there could be boundaries. Now these boundaries are not walls. So
Mm.
these boundaries
Yes.
are not walls. These are just an expression for me, for one person telling the other person that allow me to be ready, allow
Right.
me to get comfortable, allow me to be okay, allow me to first be okay in my space, and then let's see if I want to come forward.
Superb. Right.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. People watching, let those hearts flow. I mean, is this conversation making sense? I mean, could you please put in the chat box? And for all those who are going through any relationship challenges, do not hesitate to DM so that we can put you into our inner circle. We have our own inner circle group, which is called Conscious Relationships. We have more than 400 people in it. They all come together. We all come together. We give them an open space, judgmental free space where they share their relationship challenges, and we relationship coaches at Anami 5 provide solutions, which is fantastic. All right. All right. So I really like the points where you said that for the first one is conflict, which is respecting those similarities, and also, giving the complementary things, which is really nice, and taking a pause, being an observant, and I statement. Ah, you is like blaming, isn't it? I mean, just express what you feel like. So use I statements, and communication, which is most crucial in any relationship, is one thing, and boundaries. Anything else that you want to share, Anamika, apart from these points?
Yes, there are three very important points which these people in healthy relationships don't overlook. One being needs. They don't
Needs.
overlook their needs or their partner's needs. So the moment they come to a point, because Because, and Kumar, you won't believe, people in codependent relationships literally mess with their needs, right? Totally, completely. So it's totally out of their heads, out of their systems, that they can have needs, right? So, or it could be a point like when it comes to people who are into narcissistic relationships, people who are maybe high on the narcissistic side, they think only they have needs, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
only they have needs, and that's also not a healthy side, because that's very much delusional way of living. So
Right.
uh, so these people, when in healthy relationships, they don't compromise on their needs, right? Because they don't compromise on their needs, they don't compromise on their values, they don't compromise on their non-negotiables. So these things they don't overlook, because if even if you don't meet your need for maybe 1 day, 2 day, 1 month, 2 months, you're going to literally mess with yourself, because needs are something which was created when we were created. Like, just like you need food to survive, you need water to survive, air to survive, and the natural physiological things. Likewise, you have emotional needs, and you cannot help it. So the only way for you to, and we are not talking about wants and desires, we are barely talking about needs, right? So
Right.
needs are not a lot to ask for, and people in codependent relationships are very much habitual of just disregarding their needs, and that's why they, after a certain point of time, because they have a belief system like needs are selfish, or if I have needs, then I am not a good person. If I have needs, then I don't love the other person enough, and
Right.
they keep overgiving, they keep not valuing their needs, and after a certain point of time, it bursts, and they are so resentful, and they the things which could be worked out before, now it's completely messed up,
Mm.
right? So people in healthy relationships don't fall for this. They very comfortably understand that love and affection is a need. uh, Everybody wants to grow, everybody wants to feel significant, everybody wants to contribute, everybody wants to feel free, everybody wants to have some amount of certainty, safety, security, everybody wants to have entertainment, adventure, variety. So these are some very fundamental needs which every human being has. So they
Absolutely.
don't overlook this. One another point which I had in my head was, they don't overlook inconsistency, right?
Mm.
So variety is a human need, but variety
Right.
does not mean inconsistency, right? Because variety is, when you bring when you meet your need of variety, you're doing it consciously. When it becomes inconsistent, or not in alignment, it's in misalignment, then it is not a very healthy state to be in, because there are gaps, and those gaps need to be filled in, right, by understanding that where the misalignment is coming from. So they don't overlook that. Another important thing that they don't overlook is disconnection,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
So love and connection are, belonging is a basic human need, right? And whenever they feel that there is the disconnection happening, they come to a point of resolution that how they can connect back. So different couples can have different ways of connecting with each other, and even couples can have like different, both the partners can have like literally different love languages, which could be ways apart. One could have love language as a gift, another one could have it as a physical touch, right? But if it is a healthy relationship, they both understand this, and they see that how they
True.
can come back to connecting again with their partners. They could do anything. Each couple is unique and different, and they can figure out any way of connecting back, right? Finding, that's where the similarity part of compatibility comes into picture. They could go to gym together, they could work out together, they could have sex, they could go out or party, they could watch a movie, they could cook together, they could play together, anything. So it's a very subjective thing to every couple, but it's important for them that they connect back. And they even again communicated that I am feeling disconnected.
Right.
So they have no problem in being vulnerable with each other.
Yep. Wow. Wow. So many important points that you shared, Anamika. And yes, they don't overlook inconsistency and disconnection. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you think there's a disconnection in your relationship, or if you think that there is an inconsistency, try and take professional help. And Anamika, this is what I've learned, or this is what I've seen over a period of time. The mistake that people make over and over is, let's say if there is a relationship problem, either the man or the woman goes to their sibling or a relative and asks for the solution. I mean, which is not so good. See, they're not professionally trained, or probably they would advise based on, because they know you personally, they might advise you based on their own personal opinion about you. Because they already have opinion or bias. There could be bias to you or your partner, and that's how they advise. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please do not make this mistake. It's like let's say if you have some health issue, it's like asking for a medicine, going to your neighbor and asking for a medicine. I mean, come on, you go to a doctor, right? So in the same way, please do not take relationship advice from those whom you know already. It could be a sibling, it could be a neighbor, colleague, reach out for professional help, and do not hesitate to DM us so that we can put you in our conscious relationships group, which is our inner circle, and where we do this open discussions, and we have so many relationship challenges that we answer, so which is amazing. So, Anamika, one more thing which I wanted to ask you is that I know we are coming up with something called the 𝗖𝗹𝗿 Element Retreat, embodying divine feminine. Could you please explain what this is all about, and when is it happening, and who can attend, and how does it help?
Sure, Kumar. So the next batch of the 𝗖𝗹𝗿 Element Retreat is happening in Delhi from 10th to 12th Feb. So almost all seats are filled over there. I guess 1 or 2 seats are left. So what we do there is, like you said, embodying divine feminine. So the whole idea behind this whole retreat is to help people come out from their toxic feminine, toxic masculine traits, and women come from these traits and move towards a more, their balanced, aligned state, empowered state of divine feminine. So this is a workshop for women, and a lot of women have been into toxic relationships, they have gone through abuse, or they are into codependent relationships, or just simply that they're not happy, right? And there's a lot of baggage that they have been carrying from the past, the traumas. Along with that, they are living with insecure attachment styles. They have had childhood from where they are bringing a lot of conditioning and patterns and belief systems which really do not serve them. And there's a lot, they're themselves inside living in a lot of conflicts, as if there are splits inside them, because there is one part of them which wants to be happy, like really happy, but there are so many other parts of them which are like their demons inside, which is telling them you're not worthy, you're not capable, you cannot do this, or you are not, you don't have resources enough to do this or that. So these kind of conflicts are there. So this workshop will help them to leave the unnecessary baggage become more self-aware and see what their natural state is. So it's not like we are going to learn something, but there's a lot of unlearning. There's a lot of dropping, a lot of surrendering, a lot of leaving. So the whole point of doing this is to cleanse the system and go back with a clearer mind, with a clearer body, and lighter spirit. So that's what this retreat is about. And a lot of activities happen over there, like wound healing, yoni cleansing. There's a lot of dance that happens, a lot of Sufi dance we do, dynamic meditation, emotional moment cleansing, and there's a lot of emotional catharsis that happens. So all of these, there is a lot of art, creativity. We also do one-on-one coaching sessions over there, and personally with like everybody in the group, and that's how it is. We wake up 6 a.m. in the morning, we go to sleep around 10 at night. So it's kind of, we have a lot of fun, and it's serious, but there's still a lot of fun, and people go home lighter.
Yep. And ladies, you just heard about the Shakti element, right? Embodying divine feminine. Now I cannot call gentlemen because Anamika just said that it's exclusively for women. No, it's a women workshop. If you want to know more, just DM me. We would send you the details if you want to join. We're not sure if the seats are filled. As Anamika said, 1 or 2 seats are available, or you might want to join next retreat that we would plan for. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So even if you want to join the future batches, you can join our Shakti Element group. So you can check out the link in bio, which we have on this page, and you can find a link to the Shakti Element retreat page, and you can get a WhatsApp link from there. And for men, so we don't have a retreat for you as such till now, but if you need one-on-one support from us, we are there. You can always connect with us. We are so we are equipped, and we have a team who can help you with your relationship challenges or any other personal challenges. And if not that, there are our e-learning journeys, which are a precise form of how our coaching works. So you can always look at that. All the links are there in our bio, and that's all. And we do free Sunday discussions, Wednesday discussions, Fridays, which are like free and open for everybody. All you have to do is just come and be a part of our inner circle. So a lot of people join it and benefit from it. So why not give it a try?
Yes, that's awesome. I mean, because there's a lot of action, a lot of questions, a lot of answers, that keeps happening in our inner circle. Today, Wednesday, we chose to come live and talk about these 5 most important things that healthy relationships, the healthy couple, don't overlook. So, Anamika, thank you so much for joining this live. All right,
I guess Vanshika has a question. She's written, how do couples make it a point to connect with each other, especially if they have a different time zones? Also, if they are in a long distance relationship. So Vanshika, as we talked about needs, as we talked about love languages, as we talked about communication, so it's really important to ask your partner that what are your needs, right? What are you feeling deprived of, unsatisfied about, or what is it that you want, you expect? Communicating about that, asking them very clear questions, rather than trying to understand it through or communicate or ask it through mixed messages or mixed questions. So it's important that you understand their needs. The second thing is, it's really important if you're in a long distance relationship to understand what your partner's love language is, right? And you can use the love language to connect it back to the needs, that how you can meet their need which they have, right? So that's in this video we also talked about the 7 needs and the love languages. So connect it there, connect the dots, see what they need and see what you can do. You can always ask them a simple question that, what do you want me to do? What can I do for you? Right?
Yes.
And if they have physical touch as their need, if they feel that meeting in regular intervals is important for them or important for you, then make sure that at least in 1 or 2 months or whatever time frame you guys decide, you meet, you catch up, you go for a coffee, you have a date night, and that. If it is not physical touch, if in case of quality time as well, but quality time, just see how you make up what is your definition of quality time, talk about that. If it is other than that, acts of service, see what acts of service can both the partners bring on table. If it is gifts, then gifting is always okay. Amazon, Flipkart, and all other websites are there. And what is the fifth one, Kumar? Physical touch, quality time, gifts, acts of service.
Let us keep this as a surprise so that they can join our inner circle to know more. There are different love languages that Anamika was talking about. As she rightly said, that we have different
words of affirmation. It's
words of affirmation.
Yes. So a lot of people communicate have this thing that they need to be affirmed and appreciated and praised, or said good things about how they have or they want to feel about things. So words of affirmation. And although we have talked about tons of things in these videos, so now it's on all of you guys. Whatever you feel, you can always comment on the
comment. And it's most important to know what's your love language is, ladies and gentlemen. There might be 5 love languages. So we have this quiz, or we have this with us at 𝗖𝗹𝗿𝗿.com, where you can come and join and check what's your love language is. So Anamika, 𝗕tože Patel says it was very insightful session. Thanks, Kumar and Anamika. You're welcome, 𝗕tože. And if you're not part of our inner circle yet, you could just DM and we would add you to our inner circle WhatsApp group of conscious relationships. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you love this conversation, we want you to share this video and join us every time that we announce these Insta lives. Thank you so much, Anamika. We shall meet everybody again with a different topic next time.
Thank you
Till then,
much, everyone. Have a great evening. Bye-bye. Bye, Kumar.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.